I was muted. I think I'm good. It's Ash from SuperVideos back for another surprise live stream. We had a surprise live stream last week and it turned out to be a pretty good one, so I decided why not do another one. So we have another surprise live stream. We will have our regular Friday night stream as well, but this is just an extra that I threw in just because why not, you know, we could talk about stuff. Let me know if everything is okay in terms of the audio, visuals, and everything. And if we're good, we'll get into it. I see a few people have joined, so maybe we'll wait for more people to join as well before we dive deeper into it and start answering questions. Animated Alex, sup Ash Boy. How are you? Glad you could join, Animated Alex. And then you ask, do you think there could be a CRM spy at the Commonwealth? That's an interesting angle. I haven't thought about that. It's possible. I just don't know. If you mean by a spy, if you mean someone like a hack, then I absolutely think it's possible. It's just a matter of whether they're going to go that direction. Like, it's possible, but will they do it or not? That's a different question. Like, it's logical, right? But whether they're going to do it or not depends on the direction that they're going to go. I do have a video coming up talking about the CRM and Commonwealth and a possible new way that they could go with it. I'll do that in a separate video, like in a few days. So maybe I'll throw your question into that discussion as well and kind of cover that question, like the answers from different angles, and kind of share how they could go about it if they end up doing that and having a spy at Commonwealth from the CRM. That's a great question though. Thank you, Animated Alex. How big of a role do you think Lydia will have in season 11? Minimal, probably minimal. So she's probably gonna be, here's the thing. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Okay, yeah. So if we think about, what was that girl's name? The girl that was with Carl, but they had a back and forth. What was her name? She got her head on a pike. I think her story, Lydia's story in season 11, is gonna be similar, not story-wise, but like the amount of story she's gonna get. It's gonna be similar to the amount of story that she got, the girl with heads on a pike. What was her name? I keep forgetting. The JSS girl, Just Survive Somehow. Enid, there we go, thank you. Yeah, Enid. I think Lydia's role in season 11 is gonna be similar to Enid's role in season 9. And the way what I mean by that is not that they're gonna have the same story, but they're gonna have the same impact on the story, and they're gonna have the same amount of impact on the story, if that makes any sense. Jose Hernandez, looks like Negan's new weapon is a crowbar. Yeah, it absolutely is. We've seen it in one image so far. We've seen him kill some walkers with it in the trailer, and we've seen him holding it in a teaser at the end of the teaser, looking at Maggie. So that's definitely his new signature weapon. I'm just interested to see whether it's gonna stay. You know what I mean? Because I feel like they're probably not gonna have him have that as a permanent weapon. I think he's just gonna be using different weapons. This might be one he uses more because he can't be given a weapon. Like, he can't be given a gun. That's why he's using that. You know what I mean? I don't think that's his choice. That's his weapon of choice at this point. It might remind him too much of Lucille, you know? Bad memories. That actually reminds me of what was in the trailer at the beginning. But anyway. But yeah. I think it would be, or it is his weapon at this point. I don't think it's gonna be its permanent weapon. I think he's gonna get a new weapon later. Just gonna move this. It's in the way. Okay, that's better. Let me just double check to see if I posted that we are live. I think I did, but just to be sure. Especially because it's a surprise stream, people probably won't show up if they don't know. Obviously. But you know what I mean. Yeah, so on Twitter. Let me see if I put it on community. Yes, I did. Okay, yeah, we're good. Animated Alex, even a nuclear missile couldn't get rid of the walkers, LOL. Well, I think, yeah, you're right, because in the sneak peek of Fear, we saw there was a walker alive. Is that realistic? Probably not, but yeah, you are right. In the world, even a nuclear missile couldn't get rid of them. But like I said, realistically speaking, it should. It should have an effect. I'm just gonna do something else real quick. Give me one sec. I can't see the comments, or not comments, the chat questions. Give me one sec. Okay, now I can see the chat questions. No new questions so far. Animated Alex, do you think Reapers had a run-in with the Whispers? Remember talking about that in your recent video? Oh yeah. It's a little complicated. Okay, here's the thing. I don't think they had a direct run-in with one another, but I do think that the Reapers found some of the behavior of the Walkers interesting, just like the survivors did. But I don't think that they ever were, you could say, that they ever were unlucky enough to pass the Whispers' borders, to run into them that way, like the survivors did. But the Whispers, I think, knew about the Reapers. On the other hand, I just don't think that they wanted to engage with them. Just like the Whispers didn't want to engage with the survivors until Lydia came in. Like, Lydia was at the middle of it, right? Or in the middle of it. But yeah, I don't think the Reapers... I don't think the Reapers knew about the Whispers, but I do think the Whispers probably knew about the Reapers. Jose Hernandez, I think Gage will die in episode 1 or 2. Yeah, that sounds plausible. I didn't put him in my death predictions because honestly he's not like a big character. But yeah, I could definitely see him dying in the first 2 episodes. I could also see Alden dying. Again, there's a part of me that thinks they're misleading us into thinking Alden's gonna die in the trailer. Like, putting the trailer aside, I had him in my death predictions. I think he's gonna die. Both him and Cole, who's the person that Maggie came with. And I still stand behind that. But at the same time, with what they did in the trailer, it kind of screws up my predictions a little bit. You know what I mean? But I still think at this point, regardless of what was in the trailer, Cole and Alden are probably dead or goners in the first 8 episodes. In the first half of the 3 halves that we're gonna have, but specifically in the first like maybe 4 or 5 episodes. Animated Alex, since Leah is a Reaper, do you think Daryl will kill her? I think Leah is a Reaper, definitely. But I did make this prediction in one of my videos. I do think Leah is gonna switch sides and help Daryl. But she's gonna die helping, and she's probably gonna sacrifice herself saving Daryl. That's how I see it going. I could be wrong. They could have Leah just be a Reaper, and they could have Daryl kill her. That would be the other logical way they could go with it. But I think a more twist in this story would be to have Leah switch sides and sacrifice herself to save Daryl, or maybe Maggie or someone else. Jose Hernandez, will Connie forgive Carol for what she did? Great question. Well, Connie is not the type of person that wouldn't forgive someone, especially if it was an accident. So I think, yeah, she will forgive Carol, and I think that's exactly what Carol needs to move on from that whole thing. You know what I mean? I think she's still stuck in the past. Like, she still can't get over the whispers, even now, because of the Connie situation. Because those were, linked. So, I think the thing that Carol needs to get over this whole thing and to move on is to have Connie, or find Connie in the first place, and then for Connie to, or for Carol to see that Connie has forgiven her. Something like that. Not just Connie, but Kelly as well. I think both of those are very important for Carol. For both of them to forgive her. Jose Hernandez. They're hiding a lot of Commonwealth stuff from us. Yes, they are. And honestly, what they're doing with the Reapers at this point, and they could expand it, but at this point, it feels a lot like the hospital storyline from season 5, I think, right? And what I mean by that is a new story that wasn't in the comics, so it's unique to the TV version, but it's just meant to expand the story a little bit so they don't jump straight into the comic storyline. You know what I mean? Like in the TV version, after we had the stuff with the governor, they put some story in between, which was Joe's group, that story, and also actually Joe's story was also in the comics, never mind. But the hospital story, they put the hospital story to be the buffer between the governor story and the No Way Out story, if I remember right. I think they're doing a similar thing after the Whispers, having a buffer. So after the Whispers, there's the Reapers, and then after the Reapers, there's the Commonwealth. Obviously, things are bleeding into one another, like they're overlapping a little bit, as we can see, because at this point we have Reapers and Commonwealth together. But the more we go on, the more I think that they're probably not gonna have the Reapers be a long-term story, like long-term community or camp that's gonna be at war with the survivors, and I think that story is gonna be short-lived. Animated Alex, I think killing Teddy was a mistake. I don't think it was a mistake. I think they should have killed him earlier. Honestly, I think they should have brought him in earlier. They brought him in a little too late, in my opinion. Like there was too much setup. And then by the time we got to his story, there was a little bit in there, you know what I mean? So I feel like they should have cut down on the setup a little bit, brought him in a little earlier, even though it didn't need to be him finding the survivors right away. Like, we could have seen things from her perspective, just like they did with the governor. How we were kind of peeking in and out for the governor storyline, but the survivors didn't really run into him yet. You know what I mean? Like, that story wasn't really on full force. So I feel like they should have done something similar with Teddy, especially because they had that underground bunker thing and they had that ideology. So there was a lot of great backstory and and even Teddy being a serial killer. Like, there was a lot of great backstory and setup, but I feel like there was just too much setup and not a lot of resolution. Not resolution necessarily, but not a lot of, or not enough actual like conflict. You know what I mean? Animated Alex. What if the Whisperers meet the CRM? Or met the CRM? I think the CRM would find the Whisperers weird and not a threat. Not a threat. They would just think of them as, you know, I don't know the best way to explain it, but they would see them as people in the lower tier trying to survive. Like in the food chain, if you think about it, they'll think of them as the lower tier. The CRM sees themselves as technologically advanced, and they would see the Whisperers as having pulled themselves down so low that they're just like the Walkers. You know what I mean? So they wouldn't see them as a threat. If they cause issues, they would wipe them out easily, or they would try to wipe them out, and I think it would be pretty easy for them. Jose Hernandez. Margot Bingham was spotted on the set, looking very much like her comic counterpart. Yeah. We talked about this on a video. This is what they're gonna do. What they're doing is they're bringing in a Stephanie that's not the real Stephanie. They're bringing in a pretend Stephanie to get information from Eugene. But we're gonna learn slowly that it's not the real Stephanie, and we're gonna meet the real Stephanie, who's gonna be played by Margot Bingham. Which obviously this didn't happen in the comics, so it's unique to the TV version. Give me 1 sec, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Okay, let's see. Where were we? Animated Alex has at least more interesting than Virginia. Oh, he's at least. Teddy. Parts of Virginia's story in season 6 I actually enjoyed. Not all of it, but some of it. Like, there were some great moments with Virginia. But overall, I do think Teddy's a more interesting character. I do agree with you on that. DJ White. Jennifer Huck and Elizabeth Kublek relationship in the Walking Dead world beyond season 2. How will it play out? How will it play out? Well, I think Huck is gonna, for lack of a better word, rebel against the CRM and her mother, Elizabeth. But I don't think it's going to end with Elizabeth getting killed or Huck getting killed. I think both are going to survive. But I think by the end of the season, they'll be on opposite ends. Like, they'll be at odds with one another. But I don't think it'll end with Huck killing Elizabeth or Elizabeth killing Huck. I know that's a popular theory, but I don't think that's going to happen. Animated Alex, do you think Morgan is a boring character? Personally, I think he was one of the most interesting characters. On The Walking Dead, he was. Morgan was a very good character, very interesting character, up to All Out War. After All Out War, we saw a decline in Morgan's story. And when he went to Fear, his character died. Like, the Morgan we know is not the same as the Morgan we used to know. You know what I mean? It's a different Morgan. No matter what you say, it's a different Morgan. It's not the same Morgan. Morgan died a long time ago. Morgan died even before all Out War, in my opinion. Animated Alex, the CRM would think all the villains in The Walking Dead are low tier. LOL. Yeah, obviously, but they would see the Whisperers at the bottom of the barrel. You know what I mean? Jose Hernandez, will Negan have a scene with Cole and Elijah? I do see that happening. That would be an interesting angle to look at things, because obviously, if you remember in one of the bonus episodes, Cole said, so you're expecting us to live in the same place as the person that murdered her husband? Remember that? So Maggie has told Cole about Negan. Probably Elijah too. And being with Maggie, they're probably both very protective of Maggie. So I could see them being at odds with one another, especially Cole and Negan. Less so Elijah. I think Elijah is a more closed off character as far as we can see. So I don't think that Elijah would confront Negan or anything like that. If Negan is to attack Maggie or something, Elijah's going to be there for her, obviously. But I don't think verbally Elijah's going to speak out. Cole, on the other hand, might. And I think that would be interesting. I'm definitely very interested to see Alden and Negan's dynamic in season 11. I think that's one of the dynamics that not as, how do I say this? People don't want to see it or people don't care, but I think that it's going to be interesting. And depending on where they go with it, I think it'll be very, very impactful and interesting. Animated Alex, I think all of the weird all of the weird, I think it's a little weird that Eugene would get fooled easily by the fake Stephanie. Consider he's the smartest in the group. Let me move down a little bit. I sort of agree with you, but I sort of think that they probably are smart enough to know they're going to recognize the voice being different. So they're going to bring someone in whose voice is similar to Stephanie. So that way, obviously, Eugene wouldn't know because he hasn't seen her in person. Or not even in person. He hasn't seen her. He doesn't know what she looks like. Zach Dixon, aka Masked Ninja, do you think Negan will talk about Jadis and seeing a CRM helicopter? I hope he doesn't, because if he does, we're just backtracking to something that happened a while back that they should have explained a while back and they just skipped over it. It's a plot hole at this point. I hope they don't explain it, because if they do, they're just shooting themselves in the foot even more, I think. DJ White, will some of the main characters get killed off in Fear, The Walking Dead Season 7? Give me 1 sec. Sorry again. Sorry about that. My air conditioner keeps shutting off for some reason. I'll have to check what's happening there. Anyway, where was I? Oh, any main characters that might die in season 7 of Fear? Absolutely. Especially if season 8 is the final season, like we think. And by main character, I just mean from the main characters we know. I don't mean Alicia, Morgan, and like people like that. I think they're gonna trim the fat a little bit. Let's just say that. But main characters, probably 1 or 2. But not a lot. But I do think we're due for a big character death. We haven't seen a big character death in a long time. Actually, I take that back. John was a big character death. But he was like the only big character death in season 6, right? If I'm remembering right. So probably 1, at least 1 in season 7 as well. Animated Alex, even though Glenn didn't die at the hilltop. I don't know what that means. Maybe this is related to another comment. I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you mean by that, Animated Alex. I didn't follow that comment. Jose Hernandez, is Negan still a prisoner, or is he a part of the community now? Well, we don't know, but obviously it appears like they've given him a chance at this point. Now, whether they were pushed into a corner and had to do this remains to be seen. Like whether, I don't know whether like Alexandria was like dying, you know what I mean? Like breaking down, and then Negan's like, come on, you can't just let me be here. And then they let him go or something like that. Or whether they do it willingly, you know what I mean? Like they bring it up to him themselves. And by them, I mean Maggie, obviously. Maggie, Daryl, and Carol. Those 3. Animated Alex, I might be upset if we don't see Negan and Princess interact once. Yeah, I think that'll be an interesting interaction. Animated Alex, pretty haunting to how June and John sleep next to Teddy's murderer's room. Yeah, that you're talking about the sneak peek, right? Yeah, I agree. Let me see. Can I zoom in a little bit? There we go. I was wondering how last time I didn't need to go so close to the thing. It's because I zoomed it in. Should be a lot better for you guys as well. Yeah, you guys can see it better. Jose Hernandez, will Mercer have his axes? I hope so. That's his signature weapon, so I hope he does. If they don't bring it, it's kind of like Negan not having Lucille, sort of. Or it's kind of like Alpha not having his, or not having her, I don't know actually. I don't know with Alpha, but yeah, it's kind of like Lucille and Negan. It's kind of like that. DJ White, will Pamela and Sebastian survive a TV show just like the comics, or get killed off in the TV version? Well, it's still a big question whether we're gonna have a Sebastian. I did a video on that. It's possible they might not even have a Sebastian. But just to answer your question, generally speaking, I think they're not gonna change the comic story when it comes to what happens to Sebastian and Pamela. I think they're gonna keep it the same. Did Pamela not die? Maybe she didn't. But obviously she was no longer in power by the end. So they'll do a similar thing. Animated Alex, don't remind me about John's death. Too sad. Yeah, it was. Animated Alex, when you were quoting what Cole said. Oh, when I was quoting what Cole said, that's what you meant. Let me go back to your comment. Even though Glenn didn't die at the hilltop. Is that what you mean? Like, is that what you're connecting back to? Even though Glenn didn't die at the hilltop. Oh. No. What I was saying is when they saw Hilltop destroyed, they said we have to go back to Alexandria. And that's where Cole said the same place where the person who murdered her husband is imprisoned at. So that's how it came together. Zach Dixon, aka Masked Ninja, what do you think will happen in 11A, B, and C? That's a loaded question. I'm just gonna answer my predictions about the first half because 11B and C, we don't even know where we're gonna go from here. But I think by the end of season 11A, there's gonna be a big battle with the Reapers, and I think the Reaper story is gonna end. And by the end of that, I think Eugene is gonna have, or at that point, he would have made Commonwealth believe him, and they would all decide to go to Alexandria to see what's happening. You know what I mean? I think that's where it's going to end. Second half of season, it's probably going to be more Commonwealth centric or centered. Jose Hernandez, I think Jacob Young is playing Pope. I don't know who that is, but there was a picture of someone who was dressed as a Reaper that came out. I don't remember his name, but that could be Pope if that's who you mean. We don't know any Reapers. Like, we don't know them by the actor's name so far, so it's a mixed mystery at this point. Animated Alex, yes. Oh, I see. Yeah, about the call thing. Yeah, that's what I meant. I didn't mean like at Hilltop. I meant at the Alexandria, like when they were deciding to go to Alexandria because Hilltop was destroyed. To change my camera battery. Give me 1 sec. I keep leaving. Sorry, guys, but the battery's dying. Give me 1 sec. I'll be back. All right, we are back. Some technical difficulties, but we are back. Animated Alex, do you think Maze should have been a part of the Reapers? I absolutely do. I think that was a big missed opportunity on their part. I think they should have had Maze stick around until season 11 and then be part of the Reapers. I think it would have been better if he was Pope, but they didn't go that direction. But I think it was a missed opportunity not making him a Reaper and having him stick around until season 11. DJ White, will the Reapers be done by the end of the first half of the season or second half? I think probably either by the end of the first half or the first episode of the second half. So 1109. By the end of 1108 or by 1109. One or the other. I'm just reading here, reading something here. Okay. Jose Hernandez. I would like to see Magna's crew have a scene with Negan. It doesn't really matter. I don't think there's any interesting storyline that they could do with them or any big scenes or moments. It could happen. I just don't know if there's anything there that would make that scene interesting. DJ White, how will Negan's story end in The Walking Dead TV show? It's tough to say. I still think they're gonna follow the comics and have him be exiled by the end. But obviously we're gonna have to wait and see. But that's how I see it. That's the way I think they're going with it. They're stalling it a little bit, but at the end of the day, they're gonna have Negan follow his comic story and be exiled. Alright, what's going on with my mouse here? There we go. DJ White. Oh no, Animated Alex. I know Robert Patrick is a big character, but if you're bringing in a big character, or actor, sorry, you should give them more to work with. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think they could have done a lot more with that particular character and that actor. DJ White. Which gender version is better? Douglas and Regina from comics? Oh, Regina, sorry. Regina. Why did I say Regina? Regina. From the comics or Diana and Reg from TV show? Which gender version is better? Douglas and Regina from comics or Diana and Reg from TV show? Diana and Reg from TV show. I think that's one of the moments where the gender swap actually worked to their advantage. Obviously, we don't know how it would have been if they followed the comics, but the way they did it turned out better than what was in the comics. We are 40 minutes in. We have 4 people on, so we'll keep going for a little bit and then we'll stop when things slow down. One thing I want to say. Let me think. Actually, never mind. I was going to say something, but I'm not going to bring it up in the stream. Anyway, Zach Dixon, aka Masked Ninja. Do you think Sebastian Milton is Pete Anderson 2.0? Pete Anderson 2.0. That's an interesting way of thinking about it. In the comics, like if we're looking at what he did in the comics, then yes. But they might change his story a little bit in the TV version. If they bring him in. That's if they bring him in. Jose Hernandez, when are we going to get character portraits? I don't think we are. For season 11, I don't think we are. I think we already got everything we were going to get. I think we just have to wait until end of August at this point. They might release more small teasers and things like that, but I don't think they'll release character portraits at this point. If they were going to release character portraits, I think it would have gone, or it would have come out before the trailer, not after the trailer. That's how I look at it. DJ White, in 1017, when Cole talked about Negan and when looking at Burnt Hilltop, questioning about living next door to Negan in Alexandria, will Negan and Cole have a scene in The Walking Dead season 11? Cole and Negan? Yeah, I think we talked about that. It's possible. I could see some interesting back and forth between them. And what you mentioned is exactly why I think there's something there they could do between Negan and Cole. But even more between between Alden and Negan, I think. Like, I think there's a lot more they could do between them. More interesting stuff. Animated Alex. I like the grandpa and granddaughter dynamic Daniel and Charlie have. Yeah, that's an interesting. Yeah, I agree. They should do a little bit more with that though. Like have Danny almost die trying to save Charlie, or have Charlie almost die trying to save Danny, or something. You know what I mean? I feel like that story is stale. That dynamic is stale a little bit at this point. Can't talk. Jose Hernandez. If Rosita and Gabe die, who could raise baby Coco? Eugene? Lydia could help. I don't know. I'm just coming up with random stuff at this point. I did a video saying that they could both die, but at this point, it's very unlikely that both Gabe and Rosita are gonna die. But if they do, then they could do with Coco what they did with Grace. Just give it to someone. And if Aaron is still alive, he could take her. DJ White, which one do you think, or do you hate? Charlie, who was with the Vultures? I completely forgot she was with the Vultures until you brought it up. And kill Nick before joining the group, or Dakota, who killed John Jr. and join and then betray the survivors, and with the end is the beginning group. Which do I hate more? Both equally the same. They were both terribly bad storylines. Animated Alex, easily Dakota, DJ White. Yeah, the Dakota one was stupid because it was the second time around. For that reason, it was stupid. But they're both equally as bad. They're like the exact same story. The only difference is Charlie switched in a way, but didn't die. Dakota switched and died. DJ White, is Cole Douglas and Vivian Morales treatment 2.0? Yeah, they did get the Morales treatment. Which is funny that you brought that up. I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, they did. Animated Alex, Charlie is slightly better by a smig. LOL. I don't know what that word means, but yeah, a little bit. A little touch better. If that's what you mean. Yeah, I agree. Animated Alex, love how the writers just forgot about Charlie. Forgot, or they thought it was convenient to forget. You choose. Jose Hernandez, will Daryl and Sebastian have a scene together? If Sebastian does show up, then yeah, I think so. I don't see why they wouldn't. But not anytime soon. Daryl still doesn't even know about Commonwealth. The only people that would immediately possibly have a scene with Sebastian are people who are there. Princess, Yumiko, Eugene, or Ezekiel. DJ White, after the death of Wes's brother, Derek, and what does the future hold for Wes in Fear? I see Wes as a background character. I don't think there's anywhere his story can go other than just for him to be in the background. They could do something interesting with him. Bringing in Derek and everything. Have Wes sacrifice himself or do something relevant, but we didn't see anything like that, and they don't give him story. He's just there. While we wait for more questions, let me just do something here real quick. Okay, we're back. The questions seem to be dying down just a tiny bit. So we'll go for another maybe 5 minutes and see where we are. There's like a few people only on. So yeah, we'll see. Animated Alex. Wes could end up with Alicia, maybe. Wes and Alicia. No, I don't see that happening. That's forced. If they go that route, that's forced. There's no setup, or there's nothing pointing to that happening. Jose Hernandez, will Princess kill walkers with Mercer like in the comics? Yeah, I don't see why not. Like, even if they don't give Mercer Princess the story from the comics, we could still have them just being badass together and killing walkers just like they did. I don't see why they would change that. That is, of course, if they're going to do that story. Not story, if they're going to do that scene where they do that. DJ White, in one of the two sneak peeks of Fear, when June and John are found, or when they found, when John Sr. Found Teddy's murder room at the bunker. Yeah, I saw that sneak peek. What about it? DJ White, will Maggie confront Negan in season 11A or 11B of The Walking Dead? Probably 11A, because we saw parts of it already in the trailer. But maybe it may not just be once. They might have a back and forth again in season 11B. Okay, the questions are dying down. There's not a new question, so we'll go for another minute of rapid fire Q&A, and then we'll call it a stream. DJ White, who do you hate the most? Virginia's Ginny or Dakota from Fear? I would have to go with... Who do I hate more? Probably Ginny. Animated Alex, remember when everyone speculated a civil war between Commonwealth after season 8 ended? Oh, between the communities, sorry. Yeah, I remember that. That's because they wanted you to think that was going to happen in the trailer. That's why that theory even became a thing. But if you remember, or not even the trailer, at the end of season 8, like that scene between Maggie and Daryl and Jesus, that's really what set everything off like in terms of that theory. You know what I mean? But I don't know if I said this. I'm pretty sure I did, but I might be wrong. But from the beginning, I knew they were gonna go that route. You know what I mean? Like, I could have been on the fence, but I was leaning more towards it not being a civil war situation, which is what they did. DJ White, will Pop get defeated by season 11A or 11B? I think I answered that. I think by the end of 11A or latest probably first episode of 11B. That's my predictions. But if they switch it up and have Reapers be a longer term villainous group, then it's obviously gonna go above and beyond. But based on what we've seen so far, I think they're a they're a short, and I don't want to say short-lived storyline, but they're a storyline where it's bounded to end sometime in the near future, just like the hospital story. I explained that terribly, but you know what I mean. Animated Alex, I thought it was a cool idea, but I'm okay. They didn't do it in season 9. They didn't do it. Season 9 was already good. Yeah, I agree. I do agree with you. It's better that they didn't do it. Alright, so that's going to be the end of the stream. If you want to get your questions in, get it in quick. Because I'm gonna end the stream here. I don't think there's any more questions. So let's end the stream. Thanks everyone for joining the stream and asking questions. I appreciate it. Appreciate the support. I'll catch you this Friday night at 7 p.m. for our regular live stream. This was a surprise one, so obviously we're gonna have our regular one this Friday night, 7 p.m. Make sure to join. And other than that, like I said in one of my other community posts, we're gonna do less Walking Dead discussions this month and more reactions, like the other reactions that we do, until Walking Dead's back. When Walking Dead's back, we're back as well. But it's not like we're not gonna post anything. But if you remember, I did daily Walking Dead videos like last couple of weeks. That's not gonna happen. It'll be maybe one video today, one video maybe in 3 days or something like that. So it's not as frequent until Walking Dead returns. Animated Alex, can't promise I'll show up, but I'll try. Thank you, I appreciate it. Whenever you can join, it's great. Epic Zombie Killer, we're about to end the stream, Epic Zombie Killer, but I'll answer your question just because you joined now. Q&A, hey Ash, do you see Walking Dead Season 11 being as epic as they're making it out to be? I hope it is. I hope they go out with a bang. I do think it's going to be slightly disappointing though. Slightly. But I do think that it's going to be the best that we can ask for. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a high note, but it's not going to be a low note. I think it's going to be, honestly, I think it'll be a mixture of season 9 and season 10. In terms of how epic, how big, and how interesting and awesome it is. Because season 10 was a downer a little bit. Like, it wasn't as good as season 9. Season 9 was pretty good, pretty solid. So I think it'll be a mixture of both of those. It won't be super great. It won't be terrible. It'll be somewhere in between, leaning more towards the better. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's pretty much it. One more question from Epic Zombie Killer and then I'll end it. I promise. Q&A from Epic Zombie Killer. Do you see Season 7 of Fear being bad or any good? I think it'll be the same. I think if they don't do something drastic, it'll be the same crap that we saw in Season 6. And I say crap because Season 6 first half was pretty solid, but the second half was, I think, probably better than Season 5, but by a hair. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Again, thanks everyone for joining and asking questions. I appreciate it. I hope to catch all of you this Friday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time in our regular live stream as well. Other than that, stay tuned for a few Walking Dead videos here and there until Walking Dead is back, but not as much. Expect to see more of our regular reactions that we were doing before, because I need to catch up on those. I've been pushing those off a lot. So yeah, thanks everyone. I'll